So I had this black friend back in about 2000 when I was going to college in Eau Claire. And I was pretty used to black people being in the military, so it wasn't that big of a deal. I would avoid him though, but he was so extra friendly. And he was a big guy too. I think that he got into college on maybe a scholarship or something. He was huge. I mean, 230 pounds. He was just slightly heavier than me. And he could bench nearly 500 pounds, over 400. I was always jealous of the guy. I mean, he had incredible strength, incredible speed. He was a real football player. And he was good. He wasn't the best student, though. I think he was in academic suspension or something. Just incredible. But he suffered from a medical condition known as schizophrenia. And reading what Dr. Andrew Weil had to say about how more black people suffer from schizophrenia in the northern, colder regions than black people in the south. It makes sense why this guy suffered schizophrenia. He was 21 at the time I met him. I was 25, 26, and I thought he was pretty cool. I wasn't really big on, making friends so much. It wasn't that big of a deal. Still isn't. But he had to make friends. And he had to be friendly and talk to people. He was really sensitive to how other people perceived him. 'Cause he was getting in a lot of trouble with the law. He was smoking weed. Maybe weed is part of the issue with schizophrenia. But I think the climate had a lot to do with it too. Climate affects me, but he would before I got there, the year before, he got in trouble with the law by grabbing some random female who I'm sure he found attractive enough to try to say, hey, he grabbed her and said, "Hey, you're coming with me." And she got scared and reported it, and she got in all kinds of trouble. But he never got kicked out. He got some warnings. I think he was trying to take medication for schizophrenia, but I watched another YouTube video that said that there's no cure for it. I think the cure is probably warmer weather then, to try to help alleviate it if it's not too late. But man, I love that guy. He was always trying to get parties going and meeting people, and I met quite a few people through him. He was roommates with a Polish guy. He snuck us into, we got free meals at the dining facility because he was eating under the football program, which allowed gave free meals. I was on campus in the summertime during doing a little work for the upholstery crew, and he was doing football training, but he eventually got kicked out during the summer camp, and then he went to upholstery where I got to see him even more often. And it was just he still was associated with the football players. He was still talking to them and joking around. He snuck me and the Polish friend into a football player party, which is pretty neat. There's a lot of interesting people there, getting drunk pretty much, and I never would have gone to a football player party or any kind of special party where it's exclusive, something like that, without him. I never have since gone to any special parties, but yeah, he was a really cool guy. I liked him, but he suffered that schizophrenia, which is pretty concerning. And I think he may have suffered a memory loss, but it was hard to say. But he was suffering in school, and this is in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, which it gets negative 30 degrees in the winter time. He got eventually kicked out of Eau Claire before the winter really came in. He got kicked out by the fall because he tried to do this weird drug deal. The cops did a sting operation, and he had all kinds of stories. But yeah, he met the undercover cop in a bathroom and is going to do a drug trade with money. But it fell through, and the money was like in the guy's car, so they went out, and that's when the cops busted him. He just had to go through like the transaction procedures. But Dennis, he didn't. That's the black guy's name. He didn't have any drugs on him, so they really couldn't bust him. But that was enough. It happened on campus, and that was enough for them to kick him out. He eventually went to back to Madison, and still I heard got in trouble with the law. But that's some of the problems with schizophrenia. You're in this different mindset, and you know, as big as he was, he always kept his head bald. So you're going to be more exposed to the cold that way. But yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, it would make sense with him that it was a cold weather that affected him. But you know, and there's no medication for it. So I mean, what else are you gonna do? You know, and as big as he was, as strong and tough as he was, he couldn't physically fight through it. You know, he was incredible for an athlete. He could have really gone a longer ways, you know, into professional regions. The way he looked, he had no fat on him. It was amazing. I was always jealous of him because I just couldn't get it going. He would be able to drink like sugar water, you know, whatever he wanted to, and still had an amazing look. I didn't get it, but yeah, he was definitely suffering too. It's unfortunate.